Adnan Syed. Adnan Syed is the subject of the popular podcast serial, which explores the murder of Hae Min Lee in 1999. Adnan was convicted, but his conviction was overturned in 2016 due to prosecutorial misconduct, and now he's fighting for his freedom again. Who is Adnan Syed? Adnan Syed is a convicted murderer who was arrested for the murder of his ex-girlfriend Hae Min Lee. He was tried and convicted in 2000, when he was sentenced to life in prison. The case became famous when it was featured on the popular podcast serial, which explored its intricacies over 12 episodes and millions of listeners. The State of Maryland vs. Adnan Syed. Adnan Syed is a podcast that was released in 2014, and it's well known among serial fans. In this episode, you'll hear from Adnan's attorney Justin Brown about what he thinks happened the night Hae Min Lee disappeared, and why he thinks there are grounds for appeal on behalf of his client. Hae Min Lee's last day on Earth. Hae was murdered on January 13, 1999. She was killed at a park in Baltimore and her body buried under a bridge in Lincoln Park. Her family believes that Adnan Syed killed her and buried her body there. The trial lasted from January to June 2000, with an additional 6 weeks of deliberations following before the verdict was read on June 28, the day after Adnan's birthday. The prosecution said that they had evidence proving who committed this crime. Adnan Syed confessed to being involved in Hae's murder while he was being interviewed by detectives after his arrest for sexually assaulting another student named Christina Roberts, Krista. In his confession, he also stated that he had helped dispose of some evidence related to the murder, such as cell phones or clothing items. However, these claims were found not credible when tested later by experts who analyzed DNA samples taken from these items during their investigation into Hae's death. Quote, Hae's killer found guilty in first trial, then acquitted in a retrial. The Hae Min Lee case is one of the most famous trials in American history. Adnan Syed was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison for the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Hae Min Lee. His conviction was overturned because of ineffective assistance of counsel by his attorney at trial, but it wasn't until after a retrial that he was officially exonerated from all charges. I am sure the story isn't over yet. It's been almost 15 years since the murder of Hae Min Lee, and Adnan Syed still has a case pending before the court, a case that could determine if he is guilty or innocent. While there have been some developments in recent months, including a new expert witness, we still don't know what happened on January 13, 1999. And while I do believe that there are people out there who know who committed this crime, and maybe even why, it seems unlikely they would come forward unless they felt confident they wouldn't be prosecuted themselves for their actions. So until we hear something definitive on either side of this issue, please remember, the truth may never come out if it can be avoided. Conclusion. The story isn't over yet. It is going to be hard to say what will happen next. I hope that the prosecutors and investigators involved in this case can come together and decide on a plan for how they want justice served. All that being said, the prosecution's case seems very weak at best, and Adnan Syed should be acquitted by now because their evidence does not add up to guilt beyond reasonable doubt or any reasonable doubt at all for that matter.